Alright, sorry for the camera angle, but we're gonna do a quick little test drive on the E55 before installing the TCU module from MK Electronics. It's pretty much warmed up, and it is in sport mode or S mode. But the real thing I'm wanting to test is if we put it in manual mode. And for example, right now I'm at third gear, about 40 miles an hour, and I'm gonna click the paddle or the button to upshift and see how long it takes. So click, and it just shifted. Of course, on the computer or on the cluster, it says that, you know, it's instantaneous, but it's not. Same deal from fourth to third, and there's a shift. Third to second, and there's the shift. Get another one from a dead stop over here. Alright, here's another roll from a dead stop. Motor acceleration. Watch out for the fuzz. Here's another one. Click. There's the shift. And click. There's the shift. And there's the shift. Do another one a little bit faster. It's a second gear pull, 2000 RPM, about 30 miles an hour. Click. There's the gear. Click. There's the gear. I mean, it's not horribly slow, but feels horribly slow. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Stock. Let's see what the TCU does. Alright, so now what we're going to be doing is installing the TCU from MK Electronics. I think on the forums they used to call it TJ Mary Tune. Basically a replacement training control module. Just plug and play. And this is the first time I'm doing this, so bear with me. But apparently you're just supposed to reach back here and you pull this back into the carpet down. This foam looks like it just pops out of place. We'll put it back here. And there's another layer of padding there. And then it looks like some 10mm nuts maybe. One down here, one here, one up here. Let's get those off really quick. Actually, this one's missing for me, which is not a warm and fuzzy feeling. So it's basically an up and backwards motion all at the same time, or kind of. Alright, so this is what we're replacing right there. So it looks like we have 1, 2 8mm nuts, and then that slides out. Undo the connectors and swap it out. This is basically what this looks like all apart. Alright, let's see what we can do. Hold on one second. Alright, so I got a 8mm. Obviously, try to be gentle. And we got 2 connectors. So you just push down on these little slides right there. Same thing on this one. Oh, took the whole thing out. But you're pushing down on that little slide. And that's it. Now, it looks like we have a little bit of a problem here. And that's oil. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is a little moisture on the connector, like oil, which apparently is also a common problem on these, that the connector down at the bottom of the transmission leaks, and then it actually wicks fluid all the way up here, which is crazy. I'm gonna wipe that off a little bit, and it's residual. See that? Alright, you guys need to see me wipe this clean. Hold on. Alright, so I took this connector, wiped it all down, used a little bit of that, basically sprayed it all in there, all the little cracks and crevices, and down the harness, basically up to about there. Wiped everything down, trying to make sure I got everything at least clean and dry. I don't want to go taking the whole connector apart yet. So for right now, we're going to leave it as is. But here's the old ECU, or TCU rather, original 1103. You can kind of see residual oil in there. Definitely something we're going to have to take a look at soon. But for right now, let's just get this banged out. So, we're going to grab the new ECU. TCU, sorry, I keep saying ECU. And plug everything in. Make sure it's secure. Make sure that's all nice and ready to go. Nice click. And basically this will just slide right back in to where it came from. And once it's in the slots down at the bottom, You can kind of see it has little slides to go into. Alright, so I was messing around with this backing plate for a minute, but to get it back in was a little interesting. Basically, I started at the top with that little stud there, and get that one in first. Then you can kind of mess around with these ones at the bottom, which you see there isn't a whole lot of room, but you start with that one at the top, and then basically push the bottom ones into submission and get them to line up. And then you can put your nuts back in. So let's do that. So now we put everything back together, and we got this little blanket. Then we got the foam backing, and those little clamps on there, just push them in, and push all of this back into place, and that's it. Let's take it for a ride. Alright, so here's another quick clip of the after installing the TCU from mkultraelectronics. Again, I apologize for the angle, but this is kind of what I have to work with. So a stock E55, if you notice up on the cluster, has M manual mode, S for sport mode, C for comfort mode, and the updated TCU from MK Ultra adds A for agility mode, to kind of keep everything similar of how I had it. I'm gonna go back into manual mode and then maybe back into sport mode to see how everything runs. So again, it is a stage 1. Where I notice it the most is probably between the 1-2 and the 2-3 shift. Much snappier. The paddles or the buttons are actually responsive, like you're not pressing it and then waiting a while for it to actually do anything. And the shifts in between those aren't dramatic. They're not like jerking you around. They're very smooth, very subtle, very composed, but definitely snappier. And again, it's not it's not a dual clutch transmission. I'm talking like milliseconds difference, but you can feel it driving the car, and you can kind of get a sense of it, especially when you actually use the paddles. So I'm not really sure how much the difference is going to show on video. Click, shift, click, shift. Alright, now here's another pull in agility mode, starting from first. I'm gonna try to lean into it a little bit more this time. I hope you guys can kind of hear me clicking the paddles over here. You can kind of see the RPMs drop there whenever it does shift. So here's 20 at 3,000 RPM. actually does something when you push the buttons. Here's a quick little downshift. The downshifts, you feel it a lot too, honestly. It doesn't jerk you back as much. You don't feel that kind of lunge forward that you normally would. It's kind of just a quick, smooth downshift and, you know, progressive. Here's from a relative stop. So all in all, I think it's a worthy upgrade. It was 250 bucks. I think I paid an extra 10 bucks or so to have it priority shipped. This is the stage 1 tune, so nothing, you know, extreme, not the SLR tune or anything like that. This car does have, as you can see, 184,000 miles, so I don't want to test my luck with it just yet, or any more than I already have, at least. But honestly, it's a huge difference for anyone that actually likes to use the paddles or the buttons over here. And if you're thinking about it, I mean, it's a night and day difference compared to stock. We have a little bit more work to do on this thing, so we'll get it going, and that's pretty much how I wanted to end this video. So if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. Take care.